Hey you guys, welcome back to K&K's Inspired Creations with Latara. So today I'm going to show you guys how I made the worst fake pound cake ever. Hey fake bake besties, I want to show you guys this fail when it comes to this pound cake that I made because I suck at some stuff too. I retried it again this year, came out better, but I did want to show this as well. And so I did start off by grabbing some sponges from Dollar Tree. They come in sets of 2. And I do like the yellow one because it makes it easier when doing the yellow pound cake. I did kind of just trace out how like a loaf of bread or like a pound cake would look with like the peak and stuff. And then I'm just using some really good scissors to cut it out. Now this is going to be the one that I use as like the template for all the other ones. So I'm just going to sit this one on top and then just kind of cut out each one. I do have 8. I felt like that was about the length of like a pound cake. Anytime my mom or grandma makes them, I feel like they're about this long, this big, this thick, this kind of thing. So I went ahead with 8, but you can of course do less than 8, more than 8. Just go to Dollar Tree and find these cute little sponges and, you know, go ahead and have fun. And while I'm doing that, I do want to take a moment and thank you so much for watching my videos. You can be watching anybody else's videos on the planet, but you're watching mine, and I'm always so appreciative of that. So now I went ahead and got these all cut up. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and mix up a little bit of paint to go ahead and paint the fronts of these 2 yellow ones so that it look more like a pound cake color instead of just like this yellow sponge color. I did use some yellow. I did use some brown. I am adding in like an orange yellow. I'm going to add in more yellow, more brown, some white to lighten it up. And my goal is just to get it as close to like a lemon pound cake color as possible. I Googled lemon pound cake and then was basically trying to get the color that I saw. So I don't bake in real life, so I really don't know what to look for. I just eat the pound cakes. I don't make them. So I got as close as I possibly could. My mom is a baker, and after she saw it, she was like, okay, you really got the cake color like good. Where I'm going to mess up on this is actually like the crust part of the pound cake, like the top part. I'm going to make it way too brown. It's going to look more like chocolate than anything else. But she did say that the actual cake lemon color, it was like spot on. So now I'm just taking a paintbrush and just painting it on there, just, you know, to get the color that I want. And then, so the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start with trying to make that, I don't know what you would call it. It's like the crust part of the pound cake. Anyway, so I start off with some brown air dry clay. That's where my mistake was. I should have started off with white, but I want to say that I started off with brown because I only had a little bit of white left. And so I figured somehow that would work. So I took my brown and now I'm just kind of mixing in white. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is still really dark. So I'm going to add in some more white. Nah, it's still really dark. Add in a little bit more white. So I'm going to use all of the white clay that I had. That was pretty much all the white clay that I had. And you could tell it's still very dark. It's very chocolatey. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do white paint because I do make different color clays using paint. But normally that's with white air dry clay. This was my first time was trying to lighten brown air dry clay. And it lightened a little, like a smidgen, but it didn't get it to the color that I needed. So by the end of it, I was just very unhappy because, you know, it's basically like a chocolate lemon pound cake, I guess. I did add a little bit of that orange yellow in there to give it a little bit more of a like toasted color, but you couldn't even see it because it was so chocolatey looking. So I'm like, okay, this is the best I'm going to do. So at this point, I'm like, okay, the sponge is still kind of wet. So let me go ahead and glue these pieces together to make it one loaf. I did use hot glue. You can use any type of adhesive, but since these are sponges, the hot glue actually worked really good. And if you're going to recreate it, I would say hot glue would be a good one unless you're letting it sit overnight before you start adding the air dry clay. So I am going to go ahead and use my heat gun to speed up the drying process because these are sponges and it's like all they did was soak in the paint and the water or whatever. So I was like, let me go ahead and dry it so I can continue. And so I'm going to go ahead and take that top piece, go ahead and glue it on there. But that other piece is going to be a slice that we already sliced off of the cake. So I'm not going to glue it on there. So now what I'm going to do is just take my air dry clay and roll it out as much as I can. I made it kind of thin. You can do it pretty thin if you want. You can do it thicker. I did it pretty thin on this one, and it's probably because that was what I had left over. I couldn't do a thick layer of air dry clay because I didn't have anything else to use if I used all of it. So I just kind of spread it out kind of like a circle, cut it down in the front so that I can just adhere it, and just make sure that it was wide enough and long enough to go around the entire thing. I did take some silicone glue and add it to the tops and the sides and the back of the sponges. You can use any type of adhesive. I haven't been able to find this glue in a long time, which makes me really sad, but I have more so taken to using Ainley's tacky glue. You can find that at Dollar Tree, but you can also find it on Amazon and stuff like that, so you can always order it. So once I got the glue on there, I am going to go ahead and add my air dry clay. And so you can tell it's really, really thin. But it does actually look pretty good. It did adhere really well. And so I'm just kind of pressing it onto it, not hard because you don't want to, break the air dry clay. And then after that, I'm just taking it around the bottom, adding some more of that glue and kind of just pressing it around so that you can no longer see any of the sponges, the colorful sponges. The only one you can see is the one out front, and that's the one that looks like the lemon pound cake portion. So it looked like a sliced lemon pound cake loaf, I guess. I don't know if that's what you would say, a loaf. And so now what I'm doing is just kind of straightening it up. One thing I should have done is added texture to the tops and the bottoms and the sides, but I didn't know that at the time, so I kind of left it, and that could have been one of the reasons why I didn't like it as much. It wasn't very realistic because it was very smooth. So I'm taking the last little bit of air dry clay that I have left, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the crust, if that's what it's called. I don't know what it's called, to the back of this one. And this is, of course, like I said before, this is the part that we sliced off. So, oh my God, my throat. This is going to be the back part. So if this was put together with the rest of it, it will be a whole pound cake. But this is basically like we had a whole pound cake and then we sliced a piece off, and this is the piece that we sliced off to eat. I hope that makes sense. But I am doing the same thing. I rolled it out. I'm using that silicone glue, putting it everywhere to make sure that it does adhere, because this is a sponge. So I don't know if sponges like to adhere to to air dry clay. So just to I don't want it to come apart later. Although I don't have this anymore. I actually threw it away. I was so unhappy with it. In hindsight, I wish I would have kept it, but it is what it is. So now I'm just kind of cutting it down so that it's, flush up against the sides of the cake. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the bottom and the top. And so while I'm doing that, I do want to say, if this is your first time here, welcome to my little pastel bakery corner of the internet. And if you're returning, hey, fake bake bestie, thank you so much for coming back. Here we do create fake desserts, seasonal decor, and fun DIY pieces that look good enough to eat. So if that is your vibe, go ahead and subscribe to become my next fake bake bestie. And so now I'm just kind of finishing it off, cutting off little extra pieces. You don't want it too thick, at least I didn't, and that's pretty much it. I didn't have to do really too much. It was actually a very simple project. It's just, I'm guessing that I just didn't have what I needed, which is probably more white air dry clay to make what I wanted. But this is the final reveal. I'm not a fan, but it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, notification bell so that you never miss a tutorial. And until next time, keep it sweet and keep it creative.